Welcome to Bite-Sized Greek Genealogy. I am Georgia Stryker Keilman of Hellenic Genealogy Geek.
Hi, I'm Carol Kostakos Petranek from Spartan Roots. This is episode 5 where we discuss how to find birth information in Greece. Georgia and I decided that there are so many record types to discuss that we've broken this up into 2 videos. This video is part 1. We'll talk about finding birth information in male registers and female registers, municipal registers, civil birth records, village church birth records, and other records where a date's not provided. In part 2, the next video, we'll explore other sources like civil voter lists, parish voter lists, the 1856 farmer census, military and school records, and village history books. Okay, let's turn this over to Georgia to get us started.
All right, in this video, we're moving on to Greek records. So if you can't read or write Greek, don't be intimidated. I am a Greek school dropout. This is a certificate from my church's first Greek school class. I think it probably is the beginning of the trend to give kids participation certificates that have nothing to do with actual achievement. You are not alone. I started out knowing very little, so let's review some tools for you to use moving forward. Translate your surname from the English spelling of the Greek name to the name in Greek characters. I used Google Translate for this. Remember, it doesn't work the other way around, Greek to English. The translating tools want to translate literally from Greek into English words. But in most cases, it does work well with English into Greek. In our first video, Tips on Names and Villages, we suggested you keep clips from various documents on the Greek names you are researching. This allows you to compare handwriting and see different ways people may write a name. Carol takes this a step further. She makes notes of other names that might use some of the same characters. So let's see what she's done here. The female name is Styliani on the first one, she notes. And the second one, she says the name Kostakos. See how the ST is one character with this S having a tail that goes below the line. And on the third one, she says the name is Anastasia. See how the ST is one character like the one in Kostakos. She has pages of these that she's collected. And they really help her move forward. I have to be better at this than she is. Okay. Do you remember this chart from video 1? This is especially important as you start researching in Greek records. Remember, the common Greek naming tradition is the name the first son after the paternal grandfather. So in this example, the grandfather is named Panagiotis. He has 3 sons, Yannis, Demetrios, Stavros. Each one of them have a son, and they name their first son Panagiotis. Now you have multiple Panagiotis in the same generation and probably residing in the same village. They are first cousins. All of them have the same last name. You want to be sure you are not researching the wrong family. And this slide is also from video 1. Notice village and municipality name changes and dates of those changes. A link to the blog post that Carol did on how to navigate the EETAA government website is on the handout. A link to the handout is located in the description of this YouTube video. Due to recent privacy laws in Greece and the EU, many government offices are hesitant to give information on anyone who's not directly related to you. So make sure you specify your relationship in any correspondence. Record keeping in Greek's difference by region. Remember, areas were incorporated into present-day Greece at various time periods. The dates and type of records differ in localities based on the requirements of the occupying country. A few more comments. Birth information for people born in Greece can be found in various records. The year of birth can be off by several years and vary in different records. Gregorian and Julian calendars. Greece switched in 1923, and February 15th was the last day of the Gregorian calendar. The Julian calendar started March 1st, the next day, so 13 days were lost. Some religious institutions use the Gregorian calendar for a longer period of time, so many records may display both dates. You might see them written with a slash in between the first one and the second one. Record access. Reference the Greek document locator number 2 in the handout located in the description of the YouTube video. It shows each type of document and where it can be located with links to those locations.
Okay, let's start our journey into finding birth information by looking at male registers, known in Greek as a mitrorenon. At the beginning of the modern Greek state in the early 1840s, every village was required to document the births of males for tax, voting, and military purposes. Male registers are kept chronologically by year. If your family remained in the same village, you can trace backwards from son to father, going back to the mid-1800s. However, records in the earliest years may not be complete. I have found that especially before 1860, records may list only a couple of names in any given year, and we know there were many more than just a couple of men in that village. This is an example, the male register for my grandfather. On line 6, we see his name, Kostakos Ioannis. His father's Andreas, his birth year 1879 in Ioannis. There's a column for the mother's name, but this generally wasn't filled out until sometime in the 1900s, and that varies by village. Some areas may have a format that differs from this. However, all male registers contain the same information. In 2019, when I was in Sparta, I went to the municipality to obtain an official male register proving my grandfather's birth. This is what I received, a letter certifying that he was registered in the village. Note the phrase that I highlighted in yellow. This pistopitiko is issued for legal use. That's really important, an important statement. It shows that it's an official document. And here's an example from George's family. It's a lot older. It's a letter received in 1918 from the municipality of Ioannis in Sparta. It verifies the birth of George's grandfather, Sarantos Starigakos. It states he was born in 1890 in Ioannis. He's 28 years old, and he's recorded in the registration books. It also has information about his parents that I thought was especially interesting. Note also that important phrase, this document is issued to be used as needed, again certifying that it can be used for legal means. Well, so much for men. What about women? Some municipalities have female registers known as mitrotheleon, but they are rare and difficult to find. They may be held by the Greek archive, GAC, or the municipal office. So why were these created? Before 1983, women took their husbands' names when they married. In 1983, Greece adopted a new marriage law which required women to keep their birth names throughout their lives. So female registers served an important purpose for women married before 1983. These registers were the means by which a woman could prove her maiden name. She may want to do this, for example, if she wanted to claim land and had to prove that she was a daughter in a family. Female registers were created retrospectively from information found in the Demotologion, the municipal registers. So here's an example. This image on the top is a female register, number 59, for Kondila Papagiannakos, daughter of Demetrios, found in household number 1745. The bottom image shows Kondilo in the Sparta Municipal Register in household number 1754 of Demetrios Papagiannakos. So you can see the arrows are pointing to the relevant information in each of these examples.
Okay, the Demotologion, the municipal register, spans 2 pages in a register book. This is page 1. We have marked the columns that show you the name, date of birth, and place of birth. These documents are official registers of all the families in the village. They were originally created around the 1950s and updated as changes happen. They are the source of birth information which should be correlated with other sources. The names of family members, their birth dates, places, and other information is included. Many thanks to Achilles Gazas, our HGG member here, who translated the column headings and gave us permission to use this chart. If you can't find your person in a municipal register, the Genealogy, your person may have left before the record was created. You may be looking in the wrong area. Remember that in some villages, these records are incomplete and may be lost. These registers were created retrospectively, sometimes long after births occurred. Beware that birth dates may be incorrect, especially the really old ones. In most areas, Genealogy were created in the mid-1950s, although some regions have earlier records.
Okay, let's talk about birth records. Civil records in Greece began in 1925. They are kept at the municipal office. On the screen is a blank form used by the municipality to register a birth. Information the clerk fills in is, under Section 1, the name of the child. Section 2 is the birth information, the date and place, the names of the father and mother, and the informant. And Section 3 gives us baptism information, the date and place, the names of the father, the mother, and the godparent. This is a page from a village church register book, again for birth and baptism. You can see that the birth and baptism dates are the first two columns, followed by the name of the child and its sex, the parents' names, and other information. Village church records are kept by the village priest. As of today, they're not online. Some village church records prior to 1900 may have been lost or destroyed, which was heartbreaking for me when I was in Sparta and working on these particular records.
Okay, church marriage records. Where are they located? We have them located in village churches and at the Greek Orthodox diocese by area. So how to calculate an estimated birth date? If the marriage record doesn't give a birth date, you might say that the male was born 25 years prior to marriage, the female 20 years prior to marriage. Now, first, this isn't perfect. This is an estimate. No, does not apply to someone who has had multiple marriages, which is very true. You'll see that later on. If you're lucky enough to have ancestors included in the MyHeritage collection of Sparta diocese marriages from 1835 to 1935, don't forget to check the backup documents. Very important. These are accessible towards the bottom of the page with that little arrow in the corner. And in this particular case, it says there's 4 documents. This is why I always advise that you have these documents translated for your closest relatives. If we look up above here, it says Yorgos Konstantino Stephanopoulos, 42 years old, resident of Sparta, married. Kondilo, daughter of Yannis Manusopoulos, 45 years old. This is not normal. It depends on the priest who's filling out the paperwork, and some did it more consistently than others, but always check. There's always, there can be very interesting information in these documents. Don't ignore them.
Yes, they're fabulous documents. Okay, moving on to death records. This is an example of a church death record. We see the death and burial dates as the first 2 columns and also the age of the deceased. So for these records, you can calculate an approximate birth year by subtracting his age from the death date. However, be aware that this would be an estimate, and it depends on the informant who provided information about the deceased. That informant may not have known the exact age and given an estimated age. Now, in this example, notice in the age column how the ages are rounded up. The first 2 are 70 and the last is 60. That raises my suspicions a little bit and could be an indication that this age was estimated. Now, are you searching for a male or a female ancestor? If so, in which records do each appear? Georgia and I thought that having a chart like this would help you determine where to look for information. Between this video and the next one, we'll explain how you can use all of these sources to find birth information. We've gone ahead and put this chart in your handout.
Okay, this chart is in the handout. We've got a lot in this handout, all right? It contains a reference to what information can be found on each document. So what you'll see here is the name of the documents on the left-hand side, and the column we've highlighted is birth date and place of age. There's a part 2 to this document that is a description of all these records and links to how they can be accessed. Okay, in summary, when receiving civil records from the GAC or a municipality, are you requesting records in the correct village? Does your request include the correct spelling of the surname? Did your ancestors leave prior to creation of municipal records? Remember, they began in 1925. Village church records are held locally by the priest. And don't let the Greek language be a barrier. Use online tools to come on, you can request information on Hellenic Genealogy Geek Facebook group. Remember, make sure you specify it's the relationship in any correspondence. It's your father, your grandfather, your grandmother, whatever. And the dates and types of records differ in locality based on requirements of the occupying country. Thanks for watching. We'd love to hear your comments, so please leave a note under the video, either on YouTube or on Hellenic Genealogy Geek. And don't forget to download the handout. A link to the handout is in the video description on YouTube.
Right, and remember, join us soon for part 2 of how to find birth information in Greece. We're excited to present this to you and hope it will be of great value. So join us next time for another bite of Greek genealogy. Bye.